Of all the disastrous Thanksgiving mornings she had survived, losing her scarf to a grocery cart might just take the cake. And yet, when she looked up, it wasn't the scarf she noticed it was her. Sarah had never imagined herself in a scene so ordinary, yet so utterly magnetic. She was the kind of woman who walked through life with purpose. High heels clicking on polished marble floors, briefcase in hand, decisions made before breakfast. But here, in this chaotic, pumpkin-strewn square of the town's annual Thanksgiving market, she felt a crack in her perfectly engineered armor. Crack she didn't even mind. Her scarf had been whisked away by an inattentive passerby, and as she bent down to retrieve it, she collided with someone. Not violently, not alarmingly, just enough for their hands to brush, warm and soft, lingering longer than socially acceptable. "Oh!" Sarah gasped, startled. Her eyes lifted and she froze. The girl standing before her was the sort of person who made the world suddenly seem slower. Slightly messy hair caught in the gentle autumn wind, clothes that suggested hurried mornings and tired evenings, yet there was an unpolished charm that made her glow. Her name was Emily, though Sarah didn't know it yet. Emily blinked, equally startled, then laughed at a sound like the clinking of tiny bells. "Sorry, I wasn't paying attention," she said, cheeks flushing pink. Sarah's mind, normally a fortress of logic and efficiency, went rogue. "It's okay," she managed. "I should have been more careful." The awkward tension stretched for a heartbeat, then broke. They both reached for the same pumpkin pie from the market stall, hands brushing again. This time neither pulled away. Sarah felt something she hadn't in years, the sudden electric thrill of human connection without expectation. "Thanksgiving disaster, huh?" Emily said, holding the pie like it was a trophy. "I was just trying to get home without dropping all my groceries." Sarah's lips curved into a smile that felt foreign on her face, both hesitant and genuine. "I thought I was the one having a rough morning." Emily tilted her head, studying Sarah as if she were an unsolvable puzzle. "You don't exactly look like you have disasters. More like conquests." Sarah laughed, a sound she quickly realized she hadn't heard herself make all week. "I conquer spreadsheets, maybe. Not pumpkin pies." Their laughter mingled, light and comforting, and Sarah's gaze lingered longer than professional etiquette allowed. She noticed the subtle tension in Emily's shoulders, the way she kept one hand bracing against the weight of the grocery bags. There was fragility there, yes, but also resilience. Something Sarah recognized in a strange, mirrored way. When Emily finally balanced her groceries and pie with one arm, she extended the other in a half-offered, half-questioning gesture. "Do you want to walk together? The market's kind of a mess today." Sarah blinked. Did she just agree? Without hesitation, she nodded. "Sure. I'd like that." As they walked side by side through the autumn leaves that rustled beneath their feet, Sarah learned bits and pieces about Emily. She had moved back to town after college, working odd jobs, saving for her own apartment. She laughed easily at her own misfortunes, and there was an honesty in her eyes that pierced through Sarah's practiced cynicism. They stopped near a street musician playing a melancholic violin, the notes drifting through the crisp air. Emily's gaze softened, and Sarah felt a sudden protective impulse, irrational, impulsive, yet undeniable. She wanted to shield this girl from the roughness of the world, to let the glow she carried remain untainted. Emily noticed Sarah watching her, a small smirk playing on her lips. "Are you staring at me?" she asked, teasing. Sarah flushed, looking away, fumbling with the strap of her bag. I wasn't. Well, maybe I was. A little." Emily laughed, the sound warm and unpretentious. "Good. I like it when people are honest. Makes the world feel softer." Sarah's heart twisted, an unfamiliar ache mingling with a sense of possibility. She knew the rules, had always known them. Get close, stay professional, don't let feelings complicate life. And yet, here she was letting the world slow down around Emily's laugh, around the simple tilt of her head, the way her eyes sparkled when she smiled. The afternoon faded into evening, the market's energy shifting from chaotic bustle to cozy warmth. Lights twinkled on the storefronts, reflecting in Emily's eyes like stars captured on Earth. They lingered at a tiny cafe, sharing slices of pumpkin pie and stories that felt too personal for a first meeting, yet too compelling to resist. Emily's fingers brushed Sarah's as they reached for the same sugar packet, and Sarah's chest tightened. Each touch, each glance, felt charged with something neither could articulate yet both sensed deeply. The walls Sarah had built around her heart, the ones she prided herself on, the ones that had kept her safe, began to crumble. And for the first time in a long time she didn't want to stop it. "You know," Emily said, voice soft, leaning slightly closer across the small table, "I didn't expect today to be magical." Sarah's pulse quickened. "Neither did I," she admitted. "And yet, here we are." The evening ended with a hesitant walk under streetlights, their hands brushing more intentionally now, lingering with silent promises. They parted reluctantly at Emily's apartment door, a fleeting embrace exchanged that spoke volumes neither dared to verbalize. Days turned into weeks, and their lives began to intertwine in unexpected, beautiful ways. Sarah found herself leaving work early to meet Emily for coffee, lingering at her apartment, sharing quiet dinners that felt more intimate than any gala or corporate event could. Emily, in turn, found solace in Sarah's presencia grounding, protective force that contrasted with her chaotic life. There were misunderstandings, of course. Emotional walls had been built over years, not easily dismantled. Sarah wrestled with vulnerability, fear of losing control, while Emily battled insecurities and the ghosts of past disappointments. Yet, every argument, every tear, every laugh only drew them closer. One rainy evening, as they shared a blanket on Emily's couch, watching the water race down the windowpane, Sarah whispered, "I never thought helping someone carry groceries could lead to this." Emily pressed her forehead to Sarah's. "Neither did I," she said. "But I'm glad it did." It was in those quiet, mundane moments that their love grew gradually, persistently, beautifully. They discovered joy in simplicity, cooking together, stealing glances across crowded rooms, holding hands in the park, whispering dreams into the night. And Sarah realized something profound. Love wasn't a conquest. It wasn't about control or perfection. It was about presence, care, and the courage to let someone in. Emily had done that for her, effortlessly, innocently, and Sarah had reciprocated with everything she had. By the time Thanksgiving rolled around again, they celebrated not just the holiday, but the year of unexpected moments that had brought them together. The golden autumn leaves mirrored the warmth they carried for each other, a warmth that neither ambition nor hardship could diminish. Sarah held Emily's hand, eyes reflecting the soft glow of the evening. "Happy Thanksgiving," she murmured. Emily smiled, leaning into her embrace. "Happy Thanksgiving. To us." And in that embrace, under the soft twinkling lights, amidst the scents of pumpkin and cinnamon, they found the kind of love that defied logic but embraced the soul. The weeks after their first encounter at the Thanksgiving market became a delicate rhythm, a dance of shared moments and quiet discoveries. Sarah found herself inexplicably checking her phone whenever Emily didn't respond immediately, a flutter of impatience tempered by concern. She hated admitting it, hated the vulnerability that came with caring this much, but she couldn't deny the pull. Emily, on her side, was equally entangled. She had never expected to feel this way about someone who, by all appearances, seemed worlds apart. Sarah's life was meticulously ordered, every detail considered, every decision calculated. Yet with her, Emily felt a freedom she hadn't known she craved. It was maddeningly intoxicating. One crisp Saturday morning, Sarah arrived at Emily's apartment with a bouquet of sunflowers. The bright yellow petals seemed almost audacious against the dullness of the urban street. Emily opened the door in her favorite oversized sweater, hair tousled, eyes wide with sleepy surprise. "You didn't have to," Emily said softly, taking the flowers and inhaling their scent. Sarah smiled, leaning against the doorframe, trying to appear casual though her heart hammered against her ribs. "I know, but I wanted to." Emily's smile deepened, and she stepped aside to let Sarah in. The apartment was small, cluttered with the traces of a life in transition, half unpacked boxes, books stacked in precarious towers, a worn couch that somehow made the place feel homey rather than chaotic. Sarah took it all in silently, realizing that each imperfection, each quirk, was part of what made Emily real and captivating. They sat together on the couch, sunlight streaming through the thin curtains, bathing the room in a soft glow. Sarah handed Emily the sunflowers, and Emily arranged them in a mason jar with careful, almost reverent attention. You really know how to make a girl feel special, Emily murmured, her eyes catching Sarah's in a way that made her breath hitch. Sarah's fingers brushed against Emily's as she reached for the vase. The contact was fleeting, but it sent a shiver up Sarah's spine. I like making you feel special, she admitted, voice low, almost trembling. Emily's heart skipped a beat. There was an honesty in Sarah's admission that made her want to collapse into the moment, to wrap herself around the warmth that Sarah radiated so effortlessly. She leaned closer, letting her shoulder brush Sarah's. I like it when you do, she whispered. The room fell into a quiet stillness, filled only with the gentle hum of the city outside and the distant laughter of children playing. Sarah's gaze lingered on Emily's face, memorizing the curve of her lips, the sparkle in her eyes. It was terrifying and exhilarating, all at once. Over the next few weeks they fell into an unspoken routine. Mornings were filled with coffee and shared newspapers, afternoons with errands and small adventures through the city, evenings with long talks and quiet dinners. Their lives, though different in pace and priority, began to intertwine in ways that were both subtle and profound. Yet, as often happens in matters of the heart, the proximity bred not just affection but tension. Sarah's career demanded long hours, and Emily's world was unpredictable and unstructured. Misunderstandings crept in like shadows, small arguments over trivial things that somehow felt monumental in the charged atmosphere between them. One evening, after a particularly stressful day at work, Sarah arrived at Emily's apartment later than usual. She found Emily sitting on the couch, arms crossed, a frown etched across her delicate features. Hey, Sarah began cautiously, dropping her bag by the door. Sorry I'm late. Emily didn't respond immediately, her eyes fixed on a spot on the floor. You're always late, she said finally, voice tight. I know work is important, but it feels like you're choosing it over me sometimes. Sarah's chest tightened. She hated seeing Emily hurt, hated that her ambition could cast a shadow over the fragile connection they were nurturing. She knelt in front of her, taking Emily's hands in hers. Emily, I swear, it's never about choosing work over you. I want to be good at both. I want to be with you and I want to feel capable at work. I'm sorry if it feels like I'm neglecting you. Emily looked up, eyes glistening. I know. I get scared, I guess. I've been disappointed before. Sarah leaned closer, forehead resting against Emily's. I get that. And I'll do better. Promise. But please, don't shut me out. Not now, not ever. Emily exhaled slowly, the tension in her body easing just a fraction. She leaned into Sarah's embrace, allowing herself to feel the comfort and security that had been missing in her life. I don't want to shut you out, she whispered. I just don't want to get hurt. Sarah kissed the top of Emily's head gently. Neither do I. But some risks are worth it. That night they slept entwined, the closeness both a balm and a promise. The next morning the sunlight found them tangled together, quiet laughter breaking through the grogginess, a sense of peace settling over them like a warm blanket. As Thanksgiving approached again, the town's familiar chaos returned, pumpkin patches, crowded markets, and the scent of roasted turkey in the air. Sarah and Emily navigated it together, a team in sync, though both still carried the memory of past insecurities. One afternoon while walking through the market, Emily paused at a stall selling handmade candles. She picked up a lavender-scented candle, inhaling deeply. This smells like calm, she said softly. Sarah smiled, watching her with affectionate amusement. You need some calm after last week's chaos at work? Emily shrugged, eyes sparkling mischievously. Maybe. Or maybe I just like smelling things that remind me life doesn't have to be so hard. Sarah chuckled, reaching out to tuck a strand of hair behind Emily's ear. The simple gesture was loaded with intimacy, a quiet declaration of care that needed no words. As the market emptied and the sun dipped low, they found themselves sitting on a park bench, sharing a slice of pumpkin pie. Sarah watched Emily savor it, noting the small creases of pleasure that appeared around her eyes. She realized that these small, ordinary moments shared quietly, without fanfare, were what made their relationship extraordinary. Emily looked up at her suddenly, a playful smile on her lips. You know, you're really hard to read sometimes. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Am I now? Emily leaned closer, resting her head on Sarah's shoulder. Yes, but I like it. Keeps me on my toes. Sarah laughed softly, wrapping an arm around her. Good. I like keeping you on your toes too. The weeks passed, and the emotional intimacy between them deepened. They began sharing more than just laughter and pie. They shared fears, dreams, and vulnerabilities that neither had revealed to anyone else. Emily spoke of her struggles with self-doubt and past heartbreaks, and Sarah shared her pressures, the weight of expectations that often left her feeling hollow. Through it all, they discovered a rhythm balance between support and independence, closeness and space. They learned that love wasn't about perfection, but about choosing each other repeatedly, even when life threatened to pull them apart. One rainy afternoon, as they sat on the couch watching raindrops race down the window, Sarah turned to Emily, her voice soft but firm. I want you to know something. Being with you, it's changed me. You make me want to be better not just at love but at life. You make me see that vulnerability isn't weakness. Emily's eyes glistened, a mixture of surprise and emotion. Sarah, I feel the same. You've shown me patience, kindness, and that it's okay to hope, even when I'm scared. They leaned into each other, foreheads touching, hearts beating in sync. In that shared silence, they understood the depth of what had begun as a chance encounter, a collision of hands at a market, a spark that had grown into a sustaining flame. As Thanksgiving drew near once more, Sarah planned a small surprise. She invited Emily to her apartment, filling the space with candles, soft music, and the aroma of roasted turkey and pumpkin pie. Emily arrived, eyes wide with curiosity and delight. What's all this? She asked, taking in the carefully prepared scene. Sarah smiled, taking her hand. It's us. Our first real Thanksgiving together. No chaos, no distractions. Just us. Emily's lips curved into a smile, tears threatening to spill. It's perfect, she whispered. They shared a quiet dinner, laughter and conversation flowing easily, a testament to the love that had grown through trials, misunderstandings, and small, ordinary moments. When the meal ended, they moved to the couch, Sarah pulling Emily into her lap, holding her close. I never imagined this, Sarah murmured, resting her chin on Emily's head. That helping someone carry groceries would lead to this. Emily laughed softly, the sound warm and tender. Neither did I. But I'm glad it did. They kissed, slow and unhurried, a promise sealed not in grand gestures but in the quiet intimacy of shared lives. Outside, the world continued its chaos, but inside, there was only them, love unfolding gently, persistently, beautifully. The days after their second Thanksgiving together were filled with a new, delicate ease. The air was crisp with the onset of early winter, and Sarah found herself noticing details she had previously overlooked. The way Emily's fingers twitched when she was excited, the soft curve of her smile in the morning light, the small sighs she released when she relaxed into Sarah's presence. Emily, too, noticed changes in herself. She felt steadier, safer, yet still surprised at the depth of her feelings. Loving Sarah wasn't about abandoning caution, it was about trusting, about allowing herself to be held without fear of breaking. She had never imagined that a single, seemingly trivial encounter could spiral into something so profound. One Saturday morning, Sarah knocked on Emily's door with 2 steaming mugs of coffee, the aroma filling the chilly apartment. Emily opened the door, hair messy but eyes bright with anticipation. Coffee? Sarah asked, holding out a mug with a playful grin. Emily took it, warmth spreading through her hands. Perfect. You're perfect. Sarah laughed, leaning against the doorframe. Flattery will get you everywhere. Emily rolled her eyes, but the smile on her lips betrayed her amusement. They settled on the couch, wrapped in blankets, the city outside humming with life. As they sipped their coffee, Sarah's thoughts wandered. She realized that these quiet, unremarkable moments were the ones she cherished most. Not boardroom victories, not accolades or promotions. Just Emily beside her, sharing space, warmth, and laughter. Their conversation meandered through trivialities and dreams alike. Emily spoke of wanting to open her own small bookstore someday, a cozy space filled with forgotten novels and handwritten notes from readers. Sarah listened intently, her heart swelling with admiration for the girl who could dream so boldly despite life's uncertainties. I think you could do it, Sarah said softly, brushing a stray hair from Emily's face. And I'll help you if you want. Emily blinked, a mixture of surprise and gratitude in her eyes. You would? Sarah nodded, leaning closer. Of course. I believe in you. I believe in us. Emily's chest tightened, and she leaned into Sarah, resting her head against her shoulder. I love you, she whispered. Sarah's breath hitched. She had known this moment was coming, had felt it building with each shared glance, each lingering touch. And yet, hearing it, feeling it, made the world seem impossibly full of possibility. I love you too, she replied, voice trembling with sincerity. More than I ever thought I could. Winter deepened, and the couple found joy in the season's simple pleasures. Snow fell gently on the city streets, and they walked hand in hand, leaving footprints that intertwined like their lives. They baked cookies, their laughter echoing through Emily's apartment as flour dusted their hair and clothes. They attended small holiday gatherings, Sarah introducing Emily to friends and colleagues who immediately warmed to her charm and authenticity. Yet, as with any relationship, challenges arose. Sarah's career demanded late nights and urgent travel, and Emily struggled with feelings of neglect. There were arguments, moments when frustration spilled over, and tears were shed. But unlike before, they approached these conflicts differently, communicating openly, acknowledging fears, and reaffirming their commitment to each other. One particularly difficult night, after a misunderstanding about a missed dinner, Emily sat on the couch, arms crossed, staring out the window at the city lights. Sarah entered, hesitating, unsure of how to bridge the sudden distance. Emily, she began gently, sitting beside her. I know I messed up tonight. I should have told you earlier that I'd be late. I don't want to make you feel unimportant. Emily's shoulders slumped, a sigh escaping her lips. I know you didn't mean it, Sarah. I hate feeling like I'm competing with your work for your attention. Sarah reached for Emily's hand, fingers intertwining. You're not competing. You're my priority always. I may not be perfect, but I want you to know that nothing matters more to me than us. Emily turned to look at her, tears brimming. I want to believe that. I really do. Sarah cupped her face, wiping away the tears with her thumb. Then believe me, because I'm not going anywhere. I love you, and I'm not letting fear or schedules get in the way of that. Emily leaned in, pressing a soft, lingering kiss to Sarah's lips. The tension melted, replaced by a warmth that filled the room, a quiet reassurance that no argument could undo the bond they shared. As the holidays approached, Sarah proposed a small getaway, a chance to escape the city's chaos and focus on each other. They rented a cabin in the mountains, a quaint place with a fireplace and snow-laden pines surrounding it. The trip was transformative. Days were spent skiing, building snowmen, and sipping hot chocolate by the fire. Nights were spent curled together under blankets, sharing stories, fears, and dreams. Sarah marveled at Emily's ability to find joy in every moment, while Emily admired Sarah's steadfastness and determination, tempered by tenderness and vulnerability she rarely showed to anyone. One evening, after a long walk in the snowy woods, they returned to the cabin, cheeks flushed from the cold and eyes bright with exhilaration. Sarah lit the fireplace, the room glowing with warmth and soft amber light. Emily sank into the couch, sighing contentedly. This is perfect. Sarah joined her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. Not perfect, she said, smiling. But us. That's the important part. Emily leaned into her, resting her head against Sarah's chest. I've never been this happy, she murmured. Neither have I, Sarah admitted, pressing a kiss to the top of Emily's head. And I don't want to ever lose Thesis. Winter gave way to spring, and with it came new challenges and milestones. Emily finally secured a small space for her bookstore, and Sarah supported her every step of the way, designing the layout, organizing events, and cheering her on at the grand opening. The store became a tangible symbol of their shared life, a blend of Emily's dreams and Sarah's guidance. The opening night was magical. Friends and neighbors gathered, the smell of fresh books mingling with the aroma of pastries and coffee. Emily moved through the crowd with radiant energy, introducing Sarah proudly to everyone. At one point, she took Sarah's hand and led her to a quiet corner. I couldn't have done this without you, Emily whispered, eyes shining. You believed in me when I doubted myself. Sarah smiled, brushing a strand of hair from Emily's face. And I'll always believe in you. Always. They shared a quiet kiss unnoticed by the bustling crowd, a reaffirmation of the love that had carried them through months of uncertainty and growth. As the months passed, their bond only deepened. They navigated life's ups and downs together, celebrating successes and comforting each other through setbacks. Their love was no longer the fragile spark of chance, it had grown into a steady, unshakable flame, warm and enduring. One late autumn evening, nearly a year after that first Thanksgiving encounter, Sarah surprised Emily with a small picnic in the park, under a canopy of orange and red leaves. Emily arrived, curious and touched by the thoughtful gesture. Sarah spread a blanket on the ground, and they sat together, sharing sandwiches, cider, and quiet conversation. As the sun dipped low, casting a golden glow across the park, Sarah reached into her bag and pulled out a small velvet box. Emily's eyes widened. "Sarah, what's this?" Sarah took a deep breath, heart pounding with both excitement and nerves. "Emily, meeting you was a collision I never saw coming. You've changed my life in ways I can't put into words. I want to keep building this life with you, through everything, every season. Will you marry me?" Tears welled in Emily's eyes as she took Sarah's hands in hers. "Yes," she whispered, voice trembling. 1,000 times yes. They embraced, the world around them fading into insignificance. In that moment, the challenges, the misunderstandings, the months of uncertainty, they all melted away, leaving only the certainty of their love. The following months were filled with preparations, joy, and laughter. Their wedding was small but intimate, held in Emily's bookstore surrounded by friends, family, and shelves of cherished books. Sarah wore a simple yet elegant dress. Emily chose a soft, flowing gown, and both radiated happiness that lit up the room. As they exchanged vows, promising to support, honor, and love each other through all of life's unpredictability, Sarah felt a profound sense of gratitude. For the pumpkin pie, the grocery mishap, the chance encounter that had led to this day. For Emily, who had taught her that vulnerability was strength, that love was about choice, and that even in the ordinary moments, extraordinary beauty could be found. Emily, too, felt a surge of emotion as she looked into Sarah's eyes. She saw everything she had hoped for. Everything she had feared was unattainable now real, tangible, and theirs. As they sealed their vows with a kiss, the guests erupted in cheers, the bookstore filled with warmth, laughter, and love. Outside, the city moved on, but inside, time seemed to stand still, honoring the extraordinary love that had blossomed from the most ordinary of beginnings. Later that evening, as they danced slowly amidst friends and twinkling lights, Emily whispered, "I still can't believe all of this started because of groceries and pumpkin pie." Sarah laughed softly, resting her head against hers. "Life has a funny way of surprising you, but I'm glad it did." Emily smiled, eyes shining. "Me too." They held each other tightly, hearts beating in sync, ready to face whatever the future held. The world outside could be chaotic, uncertain, even cruel, but inside their love, there was safety, warmth, and endless possibility. And in that love they found home. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.